Hi, Roscoe here. This is part 3 of my kind of beginners series in regards to Pet Battle PvP. This video is kind of about team building and synergy. So I'm going to kind of show you some teams that have got good synergy, and I'm going to show you some teams I'll show you some teams that don't have good synergy first, I think actually. So they've got no synergy, and then I'll show you some teams with good synergy. Team building is quite important, because if you just throw some pets together, more often than not, they're not going to complement each other or work well. Whereas if you try and think it out a little bit, then potentially you may be able to get some good kind of combinations going, and actually get some pets that actually work out and are quite strong with each other, opposed to ones that just kind of hamper each other or stop each other working effectively. So the first team I've gone for, just called No Synergy number 1, is I'm using a little bling with the inflation and the make it rain, the idol. It's got the sandstorm there, and then the rabbit. Now there's not much synergy here because of the sandstorm on this idol. It means that the inflation won't actually hit at all. The damage from make it rain is going to be kind of really substantially weakened, and the dot that you get from it isn't going to do any dot damage. The rabbit isn't going to hit very hard. I mean, you're losing 74 from every attack, so this multi attack you're losing 74 from it, so it's going to hit really weakly. The little bling is going to hit weakly as well. So there's not much synergy in here. None of these pets really complement each other to an extent. I guess if you ran the inflation first, it kind of helps these other two, but this kind of combination, it just doesn't work, and it's going to cause you to generally lose more often than not, because you're kind of you're hampering yourself, you're hampering your own pets, so you're almost helping the opposition beat you in a way. So the second team with no synergy, I'm using all undeads, which generally I don't like to do because you can be so easily countered by one particular damage type. So all these pets are weak to critter damage, so if someone had some critter damage on their team, they're going to do really well against you. And also all these pets all have Haunt, and they're all talented to use Haunt at the moment, which generally means that if you Haunt into another Haunt, that pet, the original Haunt pet, dies. The more kind of Haunts you got up, the more kind of you're running a risk. If one of these pets dies and you've got 2 Haunts up, you lose the battle. There's no kind of benefit to having this many Haunts. Generally you only need 1 on your team. And all the damage, I mean, if it was like this as well, it's only doing undead damage. So it's going to be really weak against anything like any aquatics. Anything like that is going to do really well against his team, because it's only going to do weak damage. And you're reducing your kind of abilities with the Haunt there. This is the third team with no synergy. So he's using some good pets. I mean, the Idol's good on its own, the Bone Serpent's good, and the Whelpling is good, the Nexus Whelpling is good. They all have weather changing abilities. So for the Nexus Whelpling, if you have the Arcane Storm up, it actually buffs your mana surge. But if you get this up and then swap to any other pets, and then cast Sandstorm, and then if you change back, you've lost that buff. You then need to wait for this to be off cooldown to recast it, and then you'll be able to kind of do the damage of this. There's a second kind of thing with a bit of bad synergy here. This idol is running Demolish, so it's 50% hit, so it only hits 50% of the time. It doesn't really work too well with Sandstorm or Cool Darkness, because you're reducing your accuracy even more. But yeah, having too many weather change effects kind of hampers your team, especially almost stick to a 1 style, maybe have a second as a backup. But it's best to kind of stick to having 1 kind of style. Sometimes 2 does work, but definitely 3 is kind of, you need to stick to your own kind of style or have a theme in the team. The third team with no synergy is using the Fiendish Imp, Chrominius, and the Clockwork Gnome. Now, how was changed? It used to work that for the next 2 rounds, every damage they take is a 100% extra. Now it's the next attack they take, so the next damage they take. So an immolation tick would count. The build turret, a shot from that would count. So potentially you would think, okay, my Chrominius is here. I'm going to go for my Howl and then Surge of Power. Crazy high damage. What will probably happen is you'd get this up, and then one of these, if you put them up, is just going to take that Howl buff away. So there's not good synergy there. If you're going to try and run a Howl, you'd want to use something that wouldn't get rid of it and hits hard. So it's got its own self synergy, but these pets don't work together. And then the final no synergy team is using the Emerald Proto Whelp, which is really like a healy pet. It's got a couple of heals on it. The Bone Serpent, which has got this, it's called Darkness, and that reduces healing by 50%. And then a Tailclaw Hatchling that's got this heal as well. So actually the Bone Serpent doesn't work well with these healing abilities here, or this healing ability here. So by casting that, you're reducing your own healing for the next 5 rounds by 50%. And generally, when you have especially an Emerald Proto Whelp, you're going to be doing a lot of healing. It's a really tanky pet. It's designed to take damage, but then slowly kind of out heal them and get the odd shot off. By doing this, you're really you're halving your healing, so you're kind of reducing your survivability. And the same with the Tailclaw to an extent. You're still going to get heals, it's still going to be fairly effective, but you're going to get half the heals. So if it's kind of a bit of a make or break, you could get to a situation where it doesn't quite pay off, and you don't get enough healing back, and then you could lose the battle. So this team is kind of almost like is a mixed kind of strategy. You want to reduce healing, but then you want to heal your own team. So I'll go through some good synergy teams now. So this good synergy team is using the Icky. It's got the Black Claw here with the Flock, the Clockwork Gnome with the Build Turret, and the Wicked Soul. Now this team, there's some really strong synergy with the Black Claw on this team. Within itself, Icky is a strong Black Claw user with the Flock, the Quills, the Black Claw itself. But add to that the Clockwork Gnome, you can potentially drop your turret down, and each shot is buffed by the damage of the Black Claw. And the Wicked Soul, you could throw your Haunt up onto the opponent, and each tick of the dot is actually buffed by the Black Claw as well. So you could really get a lot of ticking damage off on an opponent, especially kind of the turret and the Black Claw. Any kind of Black Claw would work potentially with the turret. There's kind of the Fellbat. Maybe not stick away from another mechanical. Kavok, the Zandalari Raptors, the Sanctum Club. Generally the Raptors or Icky would be a fairly strong combo. Maybe the new kind of Legion full pet if you've managed to get hold of that so far. The second good synergy team is the Little Bling, the Valk, and the Imp. Now this team I find works really well because you could potentially haunt your opponent, and then you could navigate them out so they're taking damage on the back line, or you could Curse of Doom them and haunt, and then run an inflation, and you're going to get that debuff to do double damage up on them, so they're going to take massive damage. You could also have your immolation up with the inflation, perhaps with the haunt, with your AoE effects from Make It Rain. I mean, you kind of get where I'm going. There's going to be so much extra damage, double damage, all these kind of small abilities. or you could get the Curse of Doom as well. Sometimes when your Valk dies, you can maybe like get the Curse of Doom off as a last gasp thing. Perhaps bring your little bling in, tank up, get your plating down, damage, and then run this inflation. So then when the Curse of Doom goes off, it's going to do double damage, and it's going to be really, really strong. The next team with some good synergy is using the Foxing. The Foxing does synergise really well, does work really well with a lot of different pets. The reason for that is it's got Dazzling Dance. Now Dazzling Dance is a strong kind of team buff. Speed by 25%. Speed is so important. But not only that, this guy is super quick then, but he's going to also make these guys quick. So this Yeti has got Thrash. If I go first, I deal an additional attack. So I actually would do more damage then. Same with this, if it goes first it does more damage. It's got the cool lightning, so these are kind of multi-strike attacks. So you're going to get more bonus from that. The other way that this team works is it's got the Falcosaur Swarm here with a lightning, so each tick of this is going to do extra damage. So you could run that through, it's going to get that debuff up, and it's going to start taking really strong big damage, and you can line that up like a predatory strike or something. So this team kind of, it works for getting the speed up, it makes these pets a lot better. Also, the speed with the Iron Skin gives it a bit more value. If you can cast it first in the round, it means you're going to be taking 2, 3, 1 damage less that turn, as well as the following 2. Okay, the fourth team with good synergy. So, a Bone Serpent is really reliant on a Darkness being up to get its maximum damage out. Now, the Phosphor has Cool Darkness, and it's one of the pets that you may not have. It could be worth going and getting it, because it's a really useful pet, especially against some of the teams and opponents that you run into in the queue, because it's that bit quicker than a lot of the pets. It's a lot more kind of useful. But this team works, so it's got the Darkness with the Nocturnal Strike, so you don't need to use your Bone Serpent's Darkness if this one's already up. You can even run Sneak Attack as well, so this deals additional damage if targets blinded. Darkness blinds all but elemental pets. And then I've got this elemental, and I said earlier that healing's reduced, so it doesn't make as much sense potentially. Elementals don't lose out from weather effects, so they ignore all negative effects, but they do still gain from beneficial effects. So the opponent is going to miss 1 in 10 against this. The heal is going to heal for the full, and none of these abilities are going to miss either. So, but yeah, having this on here, it's like this isn't going to be a team where you're going to be able to heal unless it's an elemental, and you've got this kind of here being able to throw up its own heal on itself. You can't heal the other pets, but it can kind of heal yourself, give you that bit more survivability to get your perhaps an extra whirlpool off, and these abilities aren't going to miss in that darkness as well, unlike your opponent, unless they're an elemental. And then the fifth team with good synergy. These pets all hit hard, but and they've got no kind of tick damage, so you can get your Howl up. You can use your Surge of Power, and it's not going to kind of debuff off. This pet's got its own kind of self synergy, so you can throw the minefield down. You can kind of lock on. But what the minefield here really works well with is actually Chrominius. You throw it down at the opponent, you then swap to Chrominius, Howl, and then you could Surge of Power. It's going to do some really big damage. And they're, in a way, even though they've got this buff up or debuff up on them, in a way they are trapped by the mines. In the same way, you throw the mines up, they could then potentially be trapped again. So that's the kind of the synergy here. I'm just trying to show. I'm going to do some counter teams in the next video. Thank you for watching. I hope that you're kind of finding this really beneficial and can kind of perhaps take some pointers away so you can perhaps have a bit more success or play even better in the queue. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.